friends, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you have gone through the introduction video. I know it was a long video, but it is very important that you go through that video once to get an idea of the entire series I am starting. So after the introduction video, I am starting off with this this particular video, which is the first in the series. And in this video, I will be covering day 1 to day 5. How we started from Calcutta and what all we covered in the first 5 days. So as you can see in this map, the first destination that we went was Chandipur. It is around 245 kilometers from Calcutta. After a day out in Chandipur, we went from Chandipur to Bhubaneswar for a night stay. From Bhubaneswar, we went to Beruva. That was day 3. And Beruva is once again a beach. That Beruva was our first entrance point to Andhra Pradesh. We stayed there for 2 nights, and that was a wonderful beach. And the second day in Beruva, we basically stayed in Beruva for a night, and in the second day we visited an ancient temple at a place called Mandasa. It's called Mandasa Perumal temple. On day 5, we traveled from Mandasa to Srikakulam, and we traveled via 3 temples. One is a temple at Meliaputti. Second is a place called Mukhalingam, where there were 3 temples, and all the 3 are ancient temples. And then in Srikakulam there is a temple called Srikakulam. That's again a Vishnu temple. And day 5 we stayed in Srikakulam itself. So I will be going through all these places one by one. So let's first begin this video with the highways connecting the areas we visited for the first 5 days. For Kolkata to Chandipur beach, the route is via Kharagpur, as you can see in the Google map. The entire stretch of highway is under construction, was under construction rather, when we traveled 2 years back, and probably by now the construction has advanced by a much amount. So maybe the conditions are better now, but at that time the drive was not that smooth till Chandipur. So for a distance of around 245 kilometers, it almost took around 5.5 hours to 6 hours. For the journey further on from Chandipur to Bhubaneswar and from Bhubaneswar to Beruva beach, the highways are awesome. Especially once you start from Bhubaneswar, we catch the National Highway 16, which goes up to till Chennai. And National Highway 16 is one of the most beautiful highways in the country right now. And the drive through that highway is very nice, very smooth, and very beautiful. One thing that is concerning is the state of the 8 highways rather within Andhra Pradesh, which are not very good. So when we travel from Beruva to Srikakulam via Meliaputti and Mukhalingam, we have to travel through a few state highways, and the state highways were not in very good conditions. So we have to keep these things in mind, that in Andhra Pradesh particularly, the state highways or the internal roads are not very good. The national highways are very good. In order to make the video short, I am dividing the video into 2 parts. In the first part, I would be covering the Chandipur beach, Beruva beach, the temple at Mandasa Fort, and the temple at Meliaputti. While in the second part of the video, I would be explaining the temples at Mukhalingam and the Kurmam temple at Srikakulam. Let's now start with our first destination in the entire journey, that's Chandipur. So obviously our main theme had been temples, and on way we have tried to cover various tourist destinations also, and Chandipur is one such beautiful tourist destination. Chandipur is at a distance of 245 kilometers from Calcutta, and the beach on Bay of Bengal is one of the most unique beaches in India. Unique in the sense that the water in the sea during low tide recedes as far as up to around 5 kilometers. So you get an entire shallow land through which you can walk around. The beach is around 15 kilometers from Balasore, which is again a very known city in Orissa. And from Calcutta, it takes around 5.5 to 6 hours to reach Chandipur. Chandipur was my daughter's first sea beach that she visited, and she really enjoyed the time. We had one night stay at Chandipur, and that was really good for us. We stayed in a hotel called Arpita Homestay, which was really good. Apart from that, there is a Odisha government Pantha Niwas also where you can stay. So our next destination was Beruva beach, which is on northern coastal side of Andhra Pradesh. We planned Beruva beach as part of our itinerary because uh, we had to visit a temple at a place called Mandasa, which is very near to Beruva beach, and staying options are there only at Beruva nearby. Beruva beach is a beach which is very less known, but it is one of the very beautiful beaches. It is around 40 kilometers from Bhubaneswar. The roads are excellent. The beach, there is a Harita resort which is very near to the beach, which is basically, I mean, you get a direct view of the beach. You can plan your stay there. It's not very expensive, not very cheap, but there are very limited options here for staying. We stayed there for 2 nights. The first and both the nights we visited the beach. After Beruva beach, our next destination was Mandasa Vasudev Perumal temple. The temple is around 25 kilometers from Beruva beach and situated in a place called Mandasa. Talking about the city Mandasa and its rich legacy behind it, Mandasa was originally known as Manjusha, and it was ruled by the royal Rajamani family during the British era in the 17th century. Till 1936, when Odisha became a separate state, it was part of the Ganjam district in Madras Presidency, and after that it became a part of the Visakhapatnam district. Later on, the village Mandasa became part of the Srikakulam district. The history of this place Mandasa goes back to the Kalinga era, and it was ruled by various dynasties and Kalinga kings. During the 2nd century around, the Kalinga kings gave over their suzerainty to the Gupta kings, and from 7th century onward, the place was under the Eastern Ganga dynasty kings. Talking about Eastern Ganga dynasty, they were the dynasties who ruled a large part of the Eastern Ghats, including Orissa and some parts of Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and few southern portions of Bengal. The legend also says that Mandasa has always been a place of great religious importance. It is said that the Pandavas during their Vanvas stayed under the Mahendragiri hills. Just to mention, the Mahendragiri hills are one of the highest mountain ranges in southern India, and they are situated right in the middle of Mandasa village. And below the hills there is a fort which were built by the kings of Mandasa. Regarding the Mandasa Vasudev temple, it is believed that Raja Vaman Singh Deo, who was a ruler in somewhere in North India, gave up his kingdom when he had a dream that he would receive some kind of a signal to establish a new kingdom, and after which he actually created a kingdom. After receiving a signal, he created a kingdom in the Mahendragiri hills and constructed the temple there on the banks of a river known as Sonamuddi. Now, few accounts also suggest that the temple dates back to 9th century and was constructed by the Eastern Ganga dynasties. So there are contradicting views, but it can be established that the rulers of Mandasa were the ones who constructed the temple. Raja Shri Harihara Rajamani consecrated the current form of the Vasudev Perumal temple in around 1744 AD, after the temple was in a very bad shape, and it is known that the main significance of Krishna Dwadasi, which is celebrated here, started from that point of 1744 AD. The Mandasa Perumal temple is dedicated to Perumal. Perumal is an incarnation of, Perumal is actually a form of Lord Vishnu basically. And if we look at the temple architecture, it is said that the main sanctum is designed in Odishan style, while the other external architecture on a typical Dravidian style. Overall, many experts say that it is a beautiful infusion of the North Indian Nagara style and the South Indian Dravidian style of architecture. The most fascinating thing about the temple is not only the architecture but also the iconography on the walls of the temple. Majorly, being a Vishnu temple, majorly the iconographies are of Lord Vishnu and Vishnu's various forms. Like there is Narasimha avatar depicted on the walls. There is also Kaliya Mardana Krishna depiction, which is depiction on the walls. But apart from that, there are also various Hindu iconographies like yalis and various symbolisms which represent various iconographies in as per Hindu scripture. Also, one more interesting thing is the presence of erotic architectures on the walls, which are prevalent on many temples in the Kalinga architectures. So the temple that we move next at Meliaputti is also known as the Khajuraho of South. I will describe that temple. But this was surprising that this particular Vishnu temple has such iconographies on erotic lines. The Mandasa temple, Perumal temple, is situated on the banks of a very beautiful lake, and it's really like the entire place of entire Mandasa village is very beautiful. So even like if you're finished visiting the temple and the fort, you can have a wonderful time for around 2 to 3 hours if you roam around the village. From Mandasa Perumal temple, we next went to visit the Mandasa fort, which is situated right at the center of the Mandasa village. This fort was constructed in 1710 by Raja Damodara Champat Dev, who is a descendant again of the Eastern Ganga dynasties. It's a very small haveli. Right now, the structure that stands is a very small haveli kind of structure, but it's beautiful, surrounded by gardens and lakes, and maybe a half an hour or 1 hour time to spend in this fort gives you an amazing experience. It is said that the Pandavas during their Vanvas stayed at the bottom of the Mahendragiri hill. Just to mention that Mahendragiri hill is the second highest mountain in Odisha. The temple at Meliaputti is also known as Radha Govind Swami temple, and the temple was built by the kings of Palakhemundi Gajapati dynasty. This temple is not much old, it is around 200 years old. The temple is also known as the Khajuraho of Andhra Pradesh. Right. It's very interesting to see the iconographies on this temple because they represent various erotic structures along with the various depictions of Lord Krishna in various forms, and as per Hindu iconography scriptures. It's if you look at the temple from all the sides, it resembles a typical Kalinga style of architecture, and it is very apparent by just looking into a temple structure that it's built by the descendancies of the Kalinga kings. So basically, Gajapati kings are the descendants of the Kalinga, the kings from this side, Odisha, where the Kalinga architecture was developed.
Govind Radha 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 Govind Radha Radha Radhe Radhe Govind Radhe 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 Govind Radhe 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 Govind Radhe 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 Govind Radhe 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 Govind Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe